Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture. The host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs.
Hello everyone, I'm Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs and the host of Vegas Rock Dog Radio. On today's show I'm talking about raccoon dogs and other animal news from around the world. So, stay right there.
Let's bring on the host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. I'm your host Sam, also known as the queen of rock and roll dogs, and this is Vegas Rock Dog Radio. We're a rock and roll show all about pets, people, and pop culture. Thank you for being here. And I tell you who else I'm grateful for being here. My dogs, Mr. Twix and Miss Thornton. And Jim's in the studio directing and bossing me around.
I've done none of the sort today, but thank you very much for giving me
Oh, what
the
a great sense of humor we have this morning.
That was very humorous.
Well, it was
Humorous of you, not so much.
Well, this is how the show's going to go today.
It'll be a fine show.
It will be. Oh, my goodness. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Got some interesting things to talk about in the show today. Before we get started, though, let's tell you where you can find us elsewhere on the internet. Some people call it internets, don't they, Jim?
Or the interwebs.
People say interwebs.
I don't know.
That seems so old school, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the worldwides.
Oh, how quickly we move on from, through vocabulary, don't we? Slang. It's like when I hear the word rad, I think, ugh. So 80s, isn't it?
90s, right?
Is that? I thought rad was 80s.
No, I think rad's 90s.
Still awful. I
Old.
think it's awful anyway.
Just use real words.
There are a lot, but we don't though, do we? I mean, and words morph over time.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we'll be going on our hollybobs soon.
I don't know what that
On our
is.
holiday. We're going on our holiday soon, but, lots of people in England call it a hollybob.
That's weird.
It's cute, though. It's a cute thing. So we're into October. What the heck? How did that happen? So much going on. But let me tell you, first of all, where to find us on the internet, 'cause that's where I started in the first place. The website is vegasrockdogradio.com, and you will see us pop up on Periscope, literally, Periscope, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Tumblr, and Instagram. The blog is therockandrolldog.com, and if you miss the live show, you can catch it on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spoke by SiriusXM, Spotify, you name it. Find the podcast app that's good for your phone, and you'll find us. Just search Vegas Rock Dog or Vegas Rock Dog Radio. We do have a second show, actually, on iTunes, which is called Pet Tip of the Day, which we should be, probably this weekend, record a ton of new pet tips. They're very short. They're about 30 to 60 seconds, if that. And they're just tips that will help you be a great pet parent and help your pets. It's as simple as that. Well, yesterday, we did something rather nice last night, didn't we, Jim?
Very excellent.
Very excellent. We grabbed a coffee and then we went up to Boulder City to see the bighorn sheep. We didn't time it well, though, because they usually come down about 11:30 in the morning, and then they come back around about 5 o'clock in the evening. But we were a little bit too late, and the big giant sprinklers had gone off in the park, so we had to do some dodging running around, so they weren't there. But the view was absolutely stunning, looking over Lake Mead. And, sometimes you just need to be quiet in a beautiful place. And that's what we did. And if you want to see those pictures, they're on my Instagram account, which is Vegas Rock Dog, or you can find them on my stories. But sometimes you just need to be quiet.
Yep.
There's a lot of noise in the world, isn't there, Jim? I think you're very sensitive to that.
Lately, yeah.
I think it also is nice to give. We didn't take the dogs last night 'cause it's kind of an impromptu thing, but because we were already out. But I do think it's nice for your dogs also to have some peace and quiet as well, particularly if you live an urban type of life. You know, I have friends in New York, and I mean, the minute they step out of their building, they're on the New York streets of Manhattan. And imagine what that's like being a tiny dog. So to be able to have some peace and quiet. And we covered this in a show a couple of weeks ago, and it's called what is the walk called? Decompression Walk. I think everybody needs it. You know, we just go somewhere really quiet, preferably very, very beautiful if you can find it, and just take in nature and the quietness and the stillness, because we have a lot of distractions. And I just think these distractions also create a lot of stress for people. Oh, that's my 2 penneth today. But it was lovely. If you've not been over to the park, it's called Hemenway. 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 Guaranteed, if you go around about 11 o'clock, 11:30, 4:35, you will see the bighorn sheep that come down from the mountains into the park. And actually, if you scroll even further back on my Instagram profile, you actually see a video of them, which we were just laying under a tree, just relaxing, looking up at the sky, yeah. And then we had hoofs coming, brum, 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 and frightened us to death because they ran right past us. And they were just playing and have a good old time. But it's lovely to see them. And they're huge. And if you see the babies, the babies are so cute. Oh, I'm just taking a look at my dogs in the studio on their bed together, snuggling up. They're so cute. Oh, I love them so much. So there you go. So that was. Have you any updates for this week? I feel like I can't get my brain in order.
No, just
what we even did this week.
had to fix the car service and change a tire
all
and
that stuff.
But it looks like it's just going to be a chill weekend. Mm-hmm. Maybe Art in the Park.
Oh yeah, Art in the Park,
or the Hot Rod Show in Henderson.
Yeah, Art in the Park is back up in Boulder City. They opened a new coffee shop now. If you've listened to the show before, you know I love a coffee shop, and I like to get out of the house office and go and work out of coffee shops. Well, I've said it so many times having a gym, because Boulder City has one coffee shop, which is, you know, the big chain. And actually, not a fan of the staff up there, to be honest. In fact, I said I'd never go back, didn't I, Jim?
Yeah, they...
to their faces.
Well, that was because...
It was not right. It was rude.
We just ordered coffee and sat down to relax early evening, and then they came out to chain all the chairs up. We're like, you're not closed yet, and we just ordered our drinks.
Coffees, and they go, no, I have to chain them up. Yeah. But you can still sit on them. No, you can't sit up on a chair that's chained up to a table. And I just thought it was extremely rude. They weren't closing. They were just trying to get out of there fast, I'm sure of it. But I was not impressed. I went, are you for real? I said, that's unacceptable. I'm never coming back here again. That is just unacceptable. And
they didn't care.
And they didn't care.
So it doesn't matter.
It doesn't. So this new coffee shop has opened up, and it's called the Boulder City Company Store. And from what I can gather, there was a Boulder City Company store decades ago when they built Hoover Dam. And so if you've been to Hoover Dam, you've probably gone to Boulder City, because it's just outside. And I think it's lovely to be able to bring a little bit of history back full circle. So we popped in last night because we were up there, running around. We'd already had a drink. And very nice inside. What was that thing, that whistle thing?
Oh, it sounded like an old school train whistle. It had multiple pitch pipes, but they had it mounted to like a fire bellows.
Yeah, they did.
So when you squeezed the bellows, it sounded like an old school steam train.
It had a fantastic sound, didn't it?
Steam train.
It was just a fantastic sound. I said, I want one of those. Yeah, I thought it was absolutely fabulous. And then I said to them, what's your hours going to be? And they said, well, we'll be open late till about 11 on Fridays and Saturdays. And we were just all over that. So very excited about that. So we'll be telling tons of our friends to come and meet us for a coffee up there. I think it'd be lovely. Do you know it'd be lovely? Because now the weather's great. It's actually all go for a walk and then go for a coffee. You know, we'll meet up with our dogs, go for a nice little jaunty jaunt. and then have a little coffee.
Mr. Twix loves meeting other dogs.
Oh, he does.
He's very vocal.
It's his favorite thing in life.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, if you go to Boulder City, you can see the coffee shop from the main drag. So if you're actually on the main drag where there's the Coffee Cup, which is the breakfast place, which, by the way, I have to say, they have a ridiculous set of rules posted on the other side of their business. That's a bit, don't do this and don't do that. You must do this, you must do that. And there's the whole list, yeah. And don't come in and ask how much longer, and don't blah, blah, blah. And, and then at the end it said, come and enjoy a positive experience with us. Like, that's if I can get all the rules right. Well, to be honest with you, we didn't have a great experience there the last time, did we, Jim?
Holy cow, how long did we wait?
Oh, she told us about 5 or 10 minutes at the counter, and I think it was about 40 minutes, and we still weren't seated. And we did go back in and ask, and maybe that's why we never got seated. We broke a rule, Jim. But it made me laugh. It was like, don't come in and be negative, and you can't do this, you can't do that, blah, 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 blah. Plus, there was a bunch of spelling mistakes and grammar mistakes. Next time I go up there, I'll post a picture. It put me off because I'd never seen those rules before. I wonder if they popped up recently. I'd never seen them before.
It might popped up because they ticked off that many customers by baiting them and keeping them waiting in line.
Well, yeah, but then it's not. Because I seen that the first time, I thought, kind of don't like that. Not sure if I want to go in here. I'm scared of breaking a rule. Oh, one of them was about no phones. It did say no phones. Something about if you're not chewing, you're moving. What is that? Is that an old saying or something?
Never heard it before.
So there you go. Which I do agree with. You know, put your phones down if you're with your family and friends and stuff. You know, unless you're showing them pictures of your dogs. But last time I checked, they weren't the boss of me. So. I don't think they can tell people not to use their phones, can they, Jim?
I don't think so.
I think it's a free country, isn't it, Jim?
But they can, they could have their business rules, I guess.
Yeah, but how much do they uphold?
Hard to tell.
Talking of having a drink, every morning now I do hot water with lemon, Jim. Just thought I'd let you know.
Does the mister come over for some? He's requiring me to pet him now.
No, he's leaving me alone right now.
That's because he's getting a chin rub.
Well, that's our random update. But if you do need a nice, quiet walk in a beautiful place, I do recommend Boulder City. There are different places you can go, and of course you can go down to the park, and you can actually just walk straight up into the mountains from there. Be very careful, though. We bumped into a friend last night who lives up there, and she said the coyotes are just strolling down their streets in packs. Be very careful with your dogs. Coyotes are very cunning. I do believe that, we shouldn't interfere with nature. I mean, we have definitely encroached on their territory. Where else are they going to go if we keep building houses? But some people are very nasty about them. But just be very vigilant. Just be smart when it comes to your pets. Especially if you've got small pets, don't leave them outside by themselves in the back garden. Because a coyote can jump high, but it also can jump a really long way. And we know we've had coyotes on that berm behind us. They could easily jump over our fence because of the berm. So, you've got to be a bit smart. Let's try and live with nature because we certainly have pushed them out of their habitat here in Nevada, definitely down here, southern Nevada. So what else was I saying about Boulder City? Oh yeah, and they have. I tried to get one, but I didn't live up there. They have community gardens, and you have to be a resident to get a little patch. And I would so love to have done that. I would be up there every single week tending to my garden, but they don't have anything open for non-residents. So, but we do walk up there, take a lot of photographs, and it's very quiet, very beautiful. There's no gaming, by the way. There's no gambling in Boulder City, so if you want to get away from that. And a lot of money's been pumped into the city because I'm seeing that the new not the new motel, but the motels have got new facades and new paint. And
well, they just got a big public works grant, I think.
Oh, they
they're
did?
putting some millions into
that makes sense.
beautifying the city, and they actually really put that money back into the community up there.
That makes a lot of sense, thanks. It does. It looks really lovely. And because Out in the Park is this weekend, it was busy last night. So good news for all the businesses up there. Well, since we're talking about coyotes that look like dogs, because they do look like dogs. They look like German shepherds. And I once stopped my car and ran across the road to save a dog that was a coyote.
Or tell them about the other dog you tried to save that was a piece of palm bark.
You know when the outside of a palm tree gets dry and it looks very kind of ginger looking, yeah? And they blow off and they kind of look furry on the edge. Well, they are kind of furry looking on the edge. No, me and my twin sister, both of us, stopped at a traffic light. We were all in the car and looked over in the grass. We thought it was a dead dog. It looked like a King Charles Spaniel, but it was a piece of palm tree. Rest assured, if your dog is loose and I see your dog, I will chase after it, even if it's a dog or a white plastic bag, which I've chased before, or a coyote. But now I'm moving on to raccoons. And as you know, maybe I've explained this in the show before, I was attacked by a raccoon when I lived in Japan, which to this day, you mentioned it's my twin sister, and she will still literally cry with laughter. It was a spring attack. I had a tug of war episode with this raccoon with my glove, with my mitten. My mitten had pom-poms on it, and the pom-poms came off first. And then it was a full-on, I don't know why I just didn't let go straight away. I don't know why. I just didn't let go. I guess I really liked that mitten. It was so weird. Oh, dear. Anyway, so by talking of my twin sister, she sends me this thing yesterday about a raccoon dog. And she said, so I said, what? She goes, it's real. It is real. It's a raccoon dog. So despite its name, so I went and found this information. Despite its name, a raccoon dog. Here's the real name for it. Oh, here we go. Nicoterutis Procyonoides. It's neither a raccoon nor a dog.
Does it look like a raccoon?
Yeah. But it does belong to the canid family, which is a lineage that includes dogs, wolves, and foxes. 5 subspecies of raccoon dogs exist, including a Japanese species called, I just said it, but it's hard. I'm going to have to do it again. Nicoterutis. No. Nicoterutis Procyonoides. Procyonoides. Viverinus, got that right, and Tanuki, got that one right. Tanuki.
That'd be a good dog name.
It's a cute name, it. Tanuki. Here are some fascinating facts, by the way, about the adorable omnivores that are found in forests, wetlands, farmlands, and urban areas. Yeah, I've forgotten where I pulled this info from. I should. Normally I would cite it, but I can't. I didn't write down where I got it from. Anyway, Atlanta is home to the only tanukis in a USA zoo. Zoos. Anyway, tanukis can be found.
I'm going to look up a tanukus.
Yeah, please do.
Spell it.
Tanukis. They can be found all over Europe and China, Japan, Scandinavia, Estonia, and Russia, but not in North America. And if you want to see one up close, Japan. Oh, I wonder if it was not.
Wow, it's amazing looking.
I wonder if it was. Wasn't a raccoon. I wonder if it was a raccoon dog that attacked me because they're found in Japan. Whereabouts in Japan?
It's called the Japanese raccoon dog.
But whereabouts?
Maybe that was a real.
I'm just saying.
Raccoon dog.
Now I'm having a bit of an epiphany. But are they known to attack?
Hold on, I'm doing the wiki on it.
Okay, then. Go and do the wiki then. But if you want to see one up close, you have to go to the zoo Atlanta. I'll pass on that, thank you. I've had my personal experience anyway, up and close personal experience with a raccoon or raccoon dog, who knows. It's been home to the brothers Loki and Thor since they arrived from Italy in 2002. And then some litter of 9 raccoon dogs made their debut at the Chapultepec Zoo. I said it right. Chapultepec Zoo in Mexico City, making the pups the first of their kind in Latin America. Probably the first in flipping captivity, too, to be born in captivity. They're ubiquitous in Japanese folklore. Similar to the Maneki Neko cat, for centuries the Japanese have associated tanukis with magical folklore and luck. Luck for them, not for me when I had a tug of war. Anyway, because it did win, by the way. It did get the glove. Referred to as Bake Danuk, these mythical tanukis are mischievous shapeshifters. Oh! One exaggerated feature is the tanuki's giant scrotum. Did I just say that? Did they just write that and did I just read that? One exaggerated feature. Are you seeing that on the picture?
No.
No, it's not showing its bits. It's it's three
Apparently
pieces.
they're all over Japan.
Wow. Well, one exaggerated feature. Well, I was in Narugo where it happened, up in the north. Anyway, one exaggerated feature, I'm saying it again, is the tanuki's giant scrotum, which represents good luck with money. In cartoons, paintings, and commercials, this part of the animal's anatomy is often illustrated as a pair of money bags. This is just fantastic, this topic. The enlarged testes represent good luck with money more so than anything sexual, and tanuki totems are placed inside businesses to bring money. Oh, my goodness. All I'm picturing is like pound signs or dollar signs on them or yen signs. It's messed up. That's messed up. Of all the body parts you could look at and say, you know, in folklore, why them? Why them? Oh my gosh. Anyway, get this. This is so crazy. Super Mario Brothers. How are we talking about Super Mario Brothers? And then we're talking about Raccoon Dogs. But guess what? It features a tanuki, Jim.
Wow.
You didn't even hear what I said.
I did.
What did I say?
Mario.
Oh, he did. So he said, if you remember, which I don't, by the way, 1990 Nintendo game Super Mario Brothers 3, which originated in Japan, and Mario put on a tanuki suit and transformed into a raccoon-like animal that was able to fly. And it turns out that Mario is one of those magical raccoon dogs.
I have some news for our people who are concerned with animal welfare worldwide, though, too. You have to be very careful. They're listed as faux fur, and I think there might be unsustainable worldwide harvesting of the tanuki.
Oh.
And it's mislabeled as faux fur.
Faux fur.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me sick. Oh, we would definitely put that piece of info out. Will you send me that, Jim?
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
Now, in Sweden, they don't like the tanukis because they're an invasive species. That was Mr. Twix, by the way. I don't know if you heard him in the back there. Bless him. Not everybody thinks raccoon dogs are worth having around. So some of the animals carry tapeworms and rabies and have mange, and they like to murder birds and muskrats and destroy gardens and vineyards, similar to actual raccoons. Well, they do have to live and survive. I mean, hello. These annoyances have caught the ire of usually neutral Sweden. Whoa, what's going on, Sweden? And the Swedish Environmental Protection Agency encourages people to hunt and kill them to reduce their, I love it, the protection agency. For who? People or the animals? And so apparently Denmark takes issue with the animals too. Come on. They can make good pets. So technically a raccoon dog is a wild animal, not domesticated, but a woman in England. Of course it's a woman in England. June Lincoln. She had adopted a 4-month-old one called Bandit. Turned out to be a perfect name for a wily pet. He is a dog, but his most close relative is a type of fox, so stealing is in his nature. She told the Daily Mail newspaper that. She said, well, he's generally well behaved. It has been impossible to teach him not to steal. Bandit walks in the leash like a dog. He seems to get along with June's 2 pet dogs. We need to find June. We need to see pictures of that. But these raccoon dogs, they date back millions of years. Scientists believe in the Donezani, which is Donezani is an ancestor of the raccoon dog because fossils were found in late Pliocene sites. Pliocene? Yeah. In Italy, France, Hungary, and Romania. Excavated fossils indicate that a large form named Megamastoides appeared in Spain. And also appeared in Spain, France, and Hungary. Wow. And according to fossil deposits found in Tochigi Prefecture in Japan, the Japanese dog first appeared during the, gosh, I've got to get my flipping tongue around these words today. Pleistocene. I want to say Pleistocene. Pleistocene era, which was between, oh my God, I don't know how to say that, 2,588,000 and 11,700 years ago in the N. Viverinus nipponicus appeared mid-Pleistocene. I at least have a good old go at it, you know. Jim, Mr. Twix is really scratching his ear pretty bad. Can you...
I've stopped him once.
Can you sort him out? I don't want him to wreck his ear. Why is it when I'm going totally off topic, but I need to look this up. You know, sometimes someone will say, "Oh, my dog just chews its foot until it bleeds." Well, obviously it hurts until it bleeds. Do you know what I mean? Why did they not stop? Oh, Twixy pants. Yeah, well, he does have that one ear since we found him in the desert. Biggest mesh you've ever seen, poor little thing. And that ear's come a long way, but it's something we have to keep on top of. But that was so bad when we found him. Oh, God, it was bleeding. Oh, that poor little thing. But I've gone completely off topic here. So let's come back. Let's do a U-turn and come back. It does say here how they're brutally slaughtered for their pelts and sold as faux fur. And they're inhumanely bred. In fur coats, calligraphy brushes. Wow. And according to Peter is such a confusing organization anyway. China supplies more than half of the finished fur garments imported for sale into the United States. Britain, Hungary and Sweden have outlawed fur farming, but the raccoon dog and other furry animals are bred at fur farms throughout China and Japan. And reports have shown that animals are sometimes skinned alive. My gosh, there is a petition that you can cite for that. It's not right. It's just not right. It's just unnecessary. It's absolutely unnecessary. Nobody needs a fur coat. And they certainly don't need to be buying a fur faux thing, you know, not knowing it's fur. That's terrible. You know what? I can't believe, I have a hard time believing that they perfected faux fur to the point that they could pass off real fur as faux fur. Do you know what I mean? Surely you would go, no, this looks like it's real. You know, horrible, absolutely horrible. Anyway, the Humane Society petitioned the Federal Trade Commission to have them include raccoon dogs as part of the Dog and Cat Protection Act. And in 2014, the Commission ruled the animals should be labelled Asiatic raccoons, not dogs. You just never know with these organizations either what their motive is half the time. Also in 2014, Kohl's is a store here in the States, came under fire for advertising faux fur on jackets that actually contain real raccoon dog fur. I would be mortified if I have a faux fur coat. You can tell it's faux fur. I mean, you can. You know, and some people go, "Oh, really? You love animals?" I'm like, it's not real. It's not. It's a fun fashion thing, but you can tell it's not real. It's so obvious. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, similar thing happened in 2006. Macy's, same thing. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Anyway, I'll see if I can find the petition for that, because I think that should be shared most definitely. They're the only canid that hibernates in winter. So between November and April every year, the animals take a long nap. Gosh, you'd save so much money, wouldn't you, if you had to hibernate as a human being? You wouldn't have to pay bills.
Are you reading the link I just sent you?
No.
Oh, okay.
You would save so much money, wouldn't you, on food? So between November and April every year.
I think you hibernated last winter, didn't you? No.
Mm-mm. We're talking like that was a real thing. Why did you say that? I know.
Got to take care of this mister now. He's demanding attention.
I know. He's so cute. So between November and April every year, the animals take a long nap, but they don't sleep very deeply, they say. If they don't store enough fat for pre-hibernation, and if it's unseasonably warm day occurs, they may wake up and forage for food. And before they hibernate, though, their body mass increases by 50%, so they can store the fat. And in the southern hemispheres, the animals don't hibernate as frequently. How cute. The Japanese city of Koka showcases tanuki statues. So 2004, Koka absorbed the city of Shigaraki, which in the 12th century was one of Japan's 6 kiln cities. And today, tanuki statues abound all over the town, including in front of bars, parks, and street corners. Obviously, this goes into their folklore. And over 60 years ago, an emperor visited the town. So the townspeople spruced up the city by creating these statues as sort of a welcome. And the tradition stuck. And the more modern shigaraki, where tanuki statues are still on display. A rotund animal wearing a straw hat holds a stake and a flask and propped up by its giant testicles. If you see the testicles, you know it's a raccoon dog. You know it's a tanuki. They don't bark. But instead of barking like a dog, they give off a high-pitched whine or whimper, which can be interpreted as either submissive or friendly. But when the animals feel threatened, they growl at each other. Unlike dogs, they don't wag their tails, but they do use their olfactory senses to sniff for food. That's the old nose there. We heard those we heard those coyotes feeding last night as we left that park. Scary. Sound like hyenas, don't they? Very scary to hear that. Male raccoon dogs support the females. They're stronger in pairs, so they band together to raise their young, and the male forages for food and brings his findings to the pregnant mate. Once the pups are born, the male helps the female raise them. The pups get weaned after 40 days, and they're able to take care of themselves around the 4-month mark. And a rare white tanuki was recently discovered in 2013. It's not that recent, but you know. All white tanuki with blue eyes was found on a farm in Japan, caught in a trap intended for another animal. Oh dear. Because it's white, the Japanese think it's good luck. A wildlife instructor thought the tanuki's snow white coat was inherited and not caused by albinism. That's interesting. So there you go. There's now you know. Well, I didn't know until yesterday, until my sister sent me this, that could have been a raccoon dog that I had a little tug of war with, with a winter glove that had pom-poms on it. Gosh, I wish we didn't even have phones. We didn't even have cell phones back then. I mean, we just had normal cameras with film. I wish we had phones back then, because that would have been epic to film that. The duck stealing my ice cream at Chatsworth House. That was another episode. Oh, interesting. Another drink there of my hot water and lemon. I like that a lot, actually. I like it when you feel like it's doing you some good. Well, since we've talked about the tanuki to quite an extent, it's in Mario Brothers. Look out for faux fur coats that, if they look too good, could well be real fur. Horrible, absolutely horrible. And let's take a quick break, Jim. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about an eagle. And an eagle like I have never seen before. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, Sam, your host, the Queen of Rock and Roll Dogs, and we'll be right back.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Pet Scene Magazine is dedicated to Las Vegas pets and the people who love them. It's a source of news and information for pet lovers, as well as offering valuable coupons and specials on pet products and services. Find them online at www.lvpetscene.com or look for them on Facebook.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, Sam, your host, the Queen of Rock and Roll Dogs. Just before the break, we talked about Harpy. No, we didn't talk about Harpy. We're going to talk about Harpy. We talked about the tanuki raccoon dog. Now we're going to talk about Harpy the Eagle. Jim, I
know all about Harpy Eagles. It's the biggest eagle in the world.
Huge. It's like nothing I've ever seen in my life.
Powerful Amazonian eagle.
Do you know when I looked at it, I thought it was a person in a costume. Look at that picture, though. Does that not look like a person in a costume? I just sent it to you on your text. Okay. So it's a bird so big that people think it's a person in a costume. And that's exactly what I thought, because that face, those eyes look like human eyes. It's huge. Oh, my gosh. And they say, I picked this story up from Bored Panda, by the way. I love the name of that, Bored Panda. And they say that's the way most people react when they see Harpy the Eagle for the first time, whether in person or in a picture. The bird is massive, fierce, proud, majestic, larger than life, with a steely glint in its eyes that practically say, "You better not mess with me, kiddo." Yeah, it does. It looks like a superhero eagle. That's what it looks like. It does, honestly. It looks. They said here it looks like a person cosplaying a bird straight from the Uncanny Valley. That must be is that a movie, Jim? Uncanny Valley.
I don't know what that is.
Research it for me.
I'm just looking at Harpy now, but give me a minute.
From another, it looks like a Pokemon. They said, "Please tell me that you see it too." While from a third angle, it looks like something that might have been kept in a secure cage somewhere in Area 51 after crash landing in an alien spacecraft that was heading to Earth from Blogon 7. It's a bird of prey, lives in the rainforest, and it is huge. They're popular on the internet, apparently. For example, one compilation photo of the Harpy Eagle got over 91,600 upvotes in less than 20 hours on Reddit, while the same picture got more than 120,000 views on an Imager in a similar time frame. Well, it's because you can't believe what you're looking at. That's why. But people do. Their face, it's the eyes. The eyes look like human eyes. But the Harpy Eagle is not to be taken lightly. They are, after all, birds of prey. There are two kind of Harpy Eagles, the American and the Papuan types. And Harpy Eagles look incredibly serious and goofy at the same time. Yes, that is a perfect way to describe them. It's like, really? That looks ridiculous. Oh, I'm scared of you, though. They're the largest, most powerful raptors to be found in rainforests around the globe. What's more, they're among the I wouldn't say among, I would say amongst the very largest species of eagles on planet Earth. Their wingspan. Have a guess about the wingspan if you don't already know.
7 feet.
You read that. And 4 inches. But they weigh only, they said between 8.5 and 20 pounds. But look how tall they are, Jim. Can you find out how tall they are? Because I don't have that info. But they do have a very unusual face. They live in the upper canopy layer of tropical lowland forests. Unfortunately, due to the destruction of its habitat, which we talked about that earlier, it's nearly eradicated in Central America. And there are fewer than 50,000 of them left worldwide in Brazil. Worldwide. And in Brazil...
35 to 41 inches tall.
That's nearly as tall as me.
Yeah.
I'm 50 inches.
No, you're 60 inches.
Am I 60 inches?
I think so.
5'12", 60? No, I'm 60 inches. Still tall, isn't it? In Brazil, the Harpy Eagle is also known by another name as the Royal Hawk. That I really like. Look at those talons, Jim. Can you believe them? Oh, my goodness. I would not like to do a nail trim. According to Fact Zoo, Harpy Eagles eat larger prey than smaller birds. So, they eat monkeys, tree porcupines, sloths, coatis. I don't know what that is. I could search that. Birds, snakes, lizards, etc. They just said, we're glad that people on that list. I bet it could swoop up a small child. What do you reckon, Jim?
Yeah, if it takes a monkey.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Not to be messed with. Not to be messed with at all, but wow. Honestly, you think that's a mask. It's from a movie. That's amazing. We're definitely going to be sharing that I'm going to share it right now, actually, this very minute, straight to our Facebook page, so you can get to see the Harpy Eagle. There you go. Fantastic. Wow. You learn something new every day. Jim, what is a coatis? Coatis.
I don't know. Hang on.
Oh, you're making Jim work today. Goodness me. While he searches that, and I have a drink, I'm going to talk about a book that was sent to me by Tracy Ullman's publicist. And if you don't know who Tracy Ullman is,
A coatis looks like a cross between a raccoon and a possum.
Oh, really? You know who Tracy Ullman is, don't you, Jim?
Yes.
She did extremely well in the States, didn't she? She's British, though. Comedian. She did a lot of sketch comedy type of things, but she's an animal lover of the extreme kind, from what I'm reading here. And so I say, a publicist sent me this book, and it's called On Dogs An Anthology, introduced by Tracy Ullman. It's actually it's one of those beautiful books, that feels like fabric. It's really lovely, and it's got the little red ribbon bookmark, which which I do like that too. On the back here, it says it's introduced by Tracy Ullman. Dogs throughout history have enjoyed a special relationship with humankind. The writers collected within these pages reflect on the joys and pitfalls of dog ownership with brilliant wit, insight, and affection. Introduced by Tracy Ullman, an inveterate adopter of strays, this illustrated anthology traces the canine's extraordinary journey from working animal to pampered pet. Includes contributions from Shakespeare, Alice Walker, James Thurber, Miranda Hart, Will Self, J.M. Barrie, Jack London, A.A. Gill, Bridget Bardot, John Steinbeck, David Sedaris, J.R. Ackley, Virginia Woolf, and more. It's lovely. It's been published by NottingHillEditions.com. And as I say, it's a really, really beautiful book. And let's have a little scan through here, see what we've got. Oh, this is just so nice. This is so nice. Oh, yeah. This is lovely. This would make a really nice gift, actually. A really nice gift. And there's a whole, like I say, a whole introduction by Tracy Ullman. I don't want to spoil it, but she goes through her love of animals and how they've come into her life. And it's, aren't we glad we have friends like this that love animals, that will you know, bring an animal into their life, whether they found it on the street or it's got, 3 legs or it's blind or, but it's great. I think it's a really, really nice book. I'll post a link up on our Facebook page and also on Instagram for you. But it would make for a very, very nice gift because it's a beautiful looking book and the stories are lovely inside. It was very nice of them to send me that. Can't beat that. Add another dog book to your collection. Why don't you, Sam? All right, so let's move on to, well, this is a hard question. So the BBC, they have a program called More or Less. It's called the More or Less program, and they attempted to answer the question of how many animals are born every day. Oh my gosh.
What the heck?
I know. So they attempt to answer this question to estimate the number in its entirety. It was probably an impossibility. We know very little about species, and they said their reproductive habits, but also because much of the earth, particularly the oceans, has yet to be explored. Yep, that's right. That makes sense too. And think about places where humans have not been. So how do you even know what animals are being born? Anyway, they did make an attempt. Good for them. Starting with defining the term animal, which they took from the Oxford English Dictionary to include mammals, non-mammals, vertebrates, and invertebrates. Then they started to answer this seemingly unanswerable question by breaking it down to a few key species. So clearly it's not going to be anywhere near accurate. But anyway, they said no discussion of animal reproduction would be complete without discussing rabbits, which have earned quite the reputation as prolific breeders. So that's where the BBC decided they would start this whole this whole answering of this question. There are an estimated 40 million breeding rabbits in. Where do you think, Jim?
I don't even have a guess.
In the United Kingdom.
Britain, where they do everything.
Which produce an average of 7 litters each, with 5 kittens per litter. And this equates to more than 1.9 million rabbits born daily. And that's just in England. What? Then they moved to Humboldt's penguins, a threatened species, lives in Chile and Peru. These penguins lay only 2 eggs at a time, typically twice a year, and it's estimated that 14,400 hatch in the wild every year. This amounts to about 40 Humboldt chickens born daily. As for another type of chicks, which are chickens, the BBC used data from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations to estimate that more than 62 million are born worldwide every day. 62 million chickens. Honeybees. Based on the fact that a queen honeybee may lay 1,500 eggs a day and the count of nearly 250,000 honeybee hives in the UK, the estimated more than 371 million honeybees could hatch in the UK daily. Most striking example of all, however, came from one of the lowliest life forms, the roundworm, or the nematode, which congregates to the tune of 3 million per square metre of land. Worms. Right now, C. elegans is just one species of nematode, which is known to lay 5 eggs per hour. Oh my gosh, it's got no life. According to Professor Professor Axel Rosberg, PhD from Queen Mary's University, a 1% hatch rate, according to the BBC. So we're multiplied by the number of square meters of land on Earth, which is around, oh my gosh, 150,000,000,000,000,000,000. This comes out at 600 quintillion, love that word, nematodes born per day on land on Earth every single day. 600 quintillion. When the rest of the global nematode population, which lives in water, is taken into account, this figure is much, much higher. What goes beyond a quintillion? Anything?
Oh, there is a word for that.
There is. I need to know it.
Okay, let me do it.
Oh my gosh. So basically, it's a lot of animals. How many different species exist on the Earth? And again, another question that's very interesting, and they again try to tackle that. And a collaboration of species turned to taxonomy developed in the 1700s to make an educated guess. Species that are related are grouped in the same genus. Then, according to families, which are further broken down into orders, classes, phyla, and kingdoms. Phyla or phyla? Don't know. It's rare for a new class or order to be discovered, as well as anything higher up in this tree of life, while new species discoveries further down are still occurring regularly. Now, the higher taxonomic classification of species, i.e. the assignment of species to phylum or phylum, class, order, family, and genus or genus, I've got to figure out how to pronounce those, follows a consistent and predictable pattern from which the total number of species in a taxonomic group can be estimated. The researchers wrote in PLOS Biology, which they estimated to be around 8.7 million earthly species. That was Twix. Did you hear him? He's so funny. So this includes mostly animals, 7.77 million, followed by fungi, 0.61 million, plants, 0.30 million, protozoa, 0.04 million, and chromis, such as algae, 0.03 million. Of them, only about 1.2 million have been described, whereas 86% of existing species on Earth and in 91% of species in the ocean still await description. Whoa. The diversity of life is one of the most striking aspects of our planet, and it certainly is. I will agree with that. Hence, knowing how many species inhabit Earth is amongst the most fundamental questions in science. Yet the answer to this question remains enigmatic, as efforts to sample the world's biodiversity to date have been limited and thus have precluded direct quantification of global species richness, and because indirect estimates rely on assumptions that have proven highly controversial. They did a thing in England, we mentioned it on the show a couple of weeks ago, where they asked people to note the animals in their back gardens. And so many people participated. It's amazing. I think you have to have a lot of that going on as well, don't you, to see, how many animals are out there. At this rate, they said not only would it take more than 1,000 years to catalogue all 8.7 million species on the planet, but many could become extinct before researchers have a chance to do so. That's true, and they are. Oh, it kills me when they announce that a species is now extinct. It's terrible, especially at the hands of men. That's not right. But more than 8 million species sounds like a lot until you consider another study that included bacterial species in the mix. Ooh. The researchers used scaling laws developed for plants and animals for microorganisms, revealing that when microorganisms such as bacteria are included, there are upwards of 1 trillion species on Earth, and only 1,000th of 1% have been identified. So microbial biodiversity seems greater than ever, anticipated yet predictable from the smallest to the largest microbiome, the researchers noted. So they're not sure what's more fascinating, the number of species on Earth or the fact that so many remain unexplored. So they say this is one reason why conservation efforts are so important. If we don't take steps to protect biodiverse regions in the world, like rainforests, which likely contain 1/2 to 3/4 of the different species on the planet, and the whole fire things, who even knows what was destroyed, and the oceans on top of that, we could be witnessing the extinction of species before we're even aware that they exist. Whoa, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And conservation. Isn't that it's funny. It's like, it's a word that these canned hunts use. It's a word they should not be allowed to use because that is not conserving. Wiping out and killing is not conserving. It's just not. And Mother Nature needs to take its course. There is a survival of the fittest. There is. Humans do not need to interfere whatsoever. I cannot stand that. I cannot stand it when you have these awful, petting zoos and stuff like that, and then they call it educational. There's nothing educational about it because petting is not teaching how to handle an animal. It's just not. So I have a really big problem when these types of organizations use these words and they're not associated with what they do whatsoever. But the whole conservation thing kills me on a canned hunt. Okay. Yeah. And people fall for it, unfortunately, because they sound so convincing. And, frankly, you should question everything. Who said that, Jim? Question everything. Someone said that recently.
Was it Eisenhower? I can't remember.
But you should question everything. Because things are very, very deceptive. And if you don't question, you can never get to the bottom of it. It's like a lot of those elephant rides in Thailand and places like that. And they go, oh, it's a sanctuary. Sanctuaries don't make elephants give rides. They don't do that. And how do you think an elephant just willingly accepts someone jumping on its back? No. It's what they call breaking the elephant's spirit. And they do. They break the elephant's spirit. It's horrific what they do to elephants. Horrific in order for you to get on their backs. So question everything. Just don't see those words and believe them. Educational. We conserve. We're a sanctuary. No. Sanctuaries are supposed to be where they live out their lives in peace as the species that they are. Not rides. Feed a giraffe. Make an elephant draw, paint. That's not a sanctuary. And if that's how they're using the animals to fund what they're doing, no. They need to look at other streams of income, how they raise money to support these animals. You cannot exploit animals and say they live in this sanctuary, but we exploit them at the same time for the money. We make them work for the money for them to live here. No, that's not how it works. If you want to see a real elephant sanctuary, go to the Elephant Sanctuary in Tennessee. I don't mean go as in physically go, because you can't. They live out their lives. I've forgotten how many acres. It's a lot. But they do have an educational center, not at the sanctuary itself. So if you want to learn about elephants, you can go and learn about them. They won't be there. You won't be riding them. You won't be petting them. They won't be painting for you or anything like that. And that's a true sanctuary. And it is... When you see how happy they are, oh, it's just amazing. Especially when they get an elephant from a circus who hasn't been an elephant its whole life, just hasn't been an elephant. And then what they do is they separate the Indian elephants from the African elephants. They know what they're doing. There's tons of enrichment for them. And how many acres is it, Jim? Will you check for me, the Elephant Sanctuary in Tennessee? And that's a true sanctuary. I think, when people talk about sanctuaries, I go, well, take a look at what they're doing. That's a sanctuary. Take a look at Best Friends. That's truly a sanctuary. This is not about exploiting animals and saying it's a sanctuary, but it's really lovely to see how they thrive and they get to be with their own kind, which is so important. And the enrichment they do for them is brilliant. I mean, really brilliant. But they have space. Elephants need space. All animals need space. What is it? I want to say 3,000 acres. Is it?
2,700 acres.
Yeah, I thought it's a lot. It's wonderful. But if you're unsure what a sanctuary looks like, look at theirs and then look at others. and if they make the animals perform to raise money for them to be there, crazy, like paying their own room and board, really, then it's not a sanctuary. It's really not a sanctuary. And don't be... Yeah, I think it's really important that you go, yeah, but it helps them. No. If they're a true sanctuary, they're there to help the animals, not for the animals to bring all the money in. So there you go. So that's that. But conservation, I think, is very important. But it makes me very sad when they do announce that a species is gone. There was I think it was one of the Disney movies, a little bird in a Disney movie. I don't know what it was, some kind of parrot. I think that went extinct this week because they actually mentioned, remember that cute bird in the blah, blah, blah Disney movie? That's now extinct. Terrible, isn't it? Absolutely terrible. In fact, can you pull up a list of animals that are extinct now, Jim?
That's going to be huge. Are you kidding? You mean modern extinctions or what?
Pull up a list.
Okay.
Just pull up a little list if you don't mind, Mr. Jim. I'm back to looking at this book again. It's so lovely. It's what I call a real book. Do you know what I mean? Talking of books, which, if you don't know this, I design notebooks. But I design notebooks that are animal-themed. And if you're listening to this show on, after the live show, then you'll see in the show notes there's a link to my notebooks. And I think I've got about 25 up there right now. But they're all animal themed. So if you're looking for great notebooks, I tend to do a lot of the dot grid journals. Excuse me, but you will often know them as a bullet journal, but that is actual trademark name. So you're not allowed to call them that unless you are that company. But it's a dot grid basically. And they're very versatile. You can do anything you can with them. You want with them. You can create whatever you want the pages to be. And you can find them all in the show notes there. I also have an Instagram account, and it's called Very Cute Notebooks. That's very simple. Very Cute Notebooks is my Instagram account for the notebooks. I should have had the ultimate pet journal finished a long time ago. But you know how it is. Sometimes other things take priority. But I'm hoping to get that done within the month, and that will be available in time for, Christmas time, holidays and stuff like that. So that's a goal. That's one of my goals. And I'm close. I'm pretty close to having that completed. But it's going to be the ultimate, where it'll have everything you'd ever thought of that you would want to put in a journal for your pet. And all in one place. So look out for that coming. I have to come up with a cool name for it. So if anyone's got any suggestions, let me know. Because I just don't want to call it. In fact, I don't think you're allowed to call it. Well, I don't know. There are. Oh, I know what it is. When I actually put it on Amazon, because all my books are available on Amazon worldwide, yeah? You have to be very careful in the descriptions that you don't put this is the best, must have. They have some rules, not laws, but some rules that you can actually put in there, because who's to determine whether it is the best? Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. So, but I'll come up with a name. We're gonna have something catchy for it, and then I've got to decide what's going to be on that front cover. And it'll be coming out. It'll be a great size, by the way. It's going to be a really good size, and I said, love everything in it you could ever think of, or maybe you didn't think of, in the actual journal itself, and it'll all be in one spot. All right, so and on that note, I don't know if you know, but I actually created a bucket list journal. And I don't mean as in a bucket list like, oh, my pet's gonna die. That's not what I mean. I couldn't figure out another word for it, but I think most people relate to that, which is like, what we call a life tick in England. A life tick. It's something you want to do in life, and you talk about it. You never quite get it done. You never have a plan. Well, that's what that book is for. It's for you to plan all of your bucket list items with your pets. So if you've talked about, gosh, we'd love to go to the beach and watch a sunrise in, I don't know, Miami or something like that, then it helps you plan them out and mark those down as done and fabulous things you've done with your pets. So that one is on there. It's I'll share another link to that one. But if you go to the link in the show notes, you can find all the notebooks there. No problem. Did you find a list, Jim? What'd you find?
There's a couple things that went extinct in the 20th century, and like 3 animals so far that have gone extinct in the 21st century.
What are they?
There's the Algerian lion, and the black rhino is 21st century.
Yeah, I know about that. That was terrible. I watched that documentary. That was they tried so hard to get those two rhinos to mate, but there was the age and a health thing. Oh, it was the saddest thing I think I've ever watched, because she just thought, this is the last chance to try and keep the species going, and that's just tragic, absolutely tragic. Come on, man needs to step away. I can't stand people that make money off animals. I can't stand it. I really can't. Can't you just find a real job and learn how to make money without doing it on an animal's back? That's not right, is it? Well, there you go. That's the end of our show. We've covered raccoon dogs. We covered the crazy eagle that looks like a person. We've tried to count all the animals in the world. And we've also talked about the new book introduced by Tracy Ullman on Dogs An Anthology. And I will post a picture of that and a link on my Instagram and Facebook page. Thank you, Jim.
Yes, thank you as well.
Thank
Very
you.
much.
It's been a fun show, Jim.
Sorry, didn't have my mic on.
Well,
These two finally settled down after a whole show of me having to pay them attention.
Now we're at the end. You know how it goes. Well, remember, everybody, you can help an animal in need. Either rescue, adopt, donate, volunteer, share their information, rescue your next family member, replace the word shop with adopt, and be kind to all animals. And that means all those, even those what were they? Even those bacterial animals. What do they call them?
Amoebas.
Okay. Even amoebas. You need to be kind to amoebas too. It's been great having you listening to the show today. Take a moment to like our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and don't forget to post pictures of your pets. And I do love to see pictures of them. And don't forget to tell us their names and what it is you love about them. And again, thank you, Jim. Thank you to you, the listeners. And today, you've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio, where it's all about pets, people, and pop culture. I'm your host, Sam, the Queen of Rock and Roll Dogs. And always kiss your pets good morning and good night. And I will see you next time.
You've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture. You've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Visit Vegas Rock Dog Radio for more information. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And subscribe on iTunes and iHeartRadio. And remember, give your fur babies a big kiss from me, Sam, the Queen of Rock and Roll Dogs. You must not rely on the information in this broadcast from our hosts as an alternative to medical advice from your veterinarian. If you have any specific questions about a medical matter regarding your pets, you should consult your veterinarian or specialist.